Well, what a great studio, Kev. Really.
I like it down here. It's roomy, and I got connection with the outside world. I got a radio and a TV. Got a window. I gotta have a window. I gotta have daylight. You know.
Plus, it's so organized. I mean, your arrangement of beads by color, by mix,
And size.
and
All my 10s are over here. My 10-Os. Now all my 12-Os are over here. And then I got my mixes that I like my color combinations with. And then I keep my other separate colors, my background colors separate. You have to know the beads, man. I mean, you have to work with them for a long time. And I know them, man.
Well, and there's a certain mastery that goes with working with hand-cut beads. Like you said, you have to roll them around and spin them around and make them lay down nice. And it's not like a uniform check cut bead.
No.
Where you can just pick them up and sew them down and that's good enough.
And they all look good when they're checks, but when you use Italians, believe me, when I first started, it didn't look like this. Some parts were wider and some parts were narrower. But after a few years of doing it, you learn the beads, and they just how to get them to lay all together in uniform, straight row. Wow. It's not easy. The worst beads to work with are the white hearts.
And why is that?
They are cut worse. I mean, some are just big, some are narrow, and to get them to be in a perfect half-inch row is you gotta just work at it.
so sometimes 7 beads doesn't work.
No.
Sometimes it has to be 8, or
No.
sometimes it can be 6 really
Yeah.
fat ones.
Yeah, we have a yellow white heart. Those are the hardest ones to work with. And I did a barrel with those, and it took me. Do you remember that, Mary? It took. It must have took me almost 3 months to do that barrel, and I could usually do a barrel in about half that time. But it took forever.
So every project has its own timetable based on how those beads are cut, how elaborate the design is.
Well, it's what beads you use and what design you use.
Right.
So and each one wants you want to be unique. You want to be one of a kind. So you got to change it up all the time. So you could easily make a quick dollar by doing the same thing over and over, but that's not what we're trying to do here. We want to be quality at the same time and be unique and different.
So not only do you respect the art, but you also respect the person who collects it, because
They are getting a really nice piece that was done from their heart, from the very beginning to the end, and it's different than anybody else has. It won't be a duplicate. It's not mass produced. It's not it's not something you're going to find in every gallery, every art thing here. It's different. But these beads are cool. They're just I'm addicted to doing this. I have to do it every day. I don't forget. I'm just used to it. But the Italian beads, there's something about them. They're attracting, and they're a challenge to work with, and I like the challenge. I don't know if that's still the kid in me, but I like that. I like the translucent colors. The owner of Prairie Edge, Ray, he encouraged me to learn to use these translucent colors. But I like the opaques too, and they're hard to mix. Some of these beads you can't do a background and then just use any bead with it, because sometimes they're small, sometimes they're bigger, but they're all labeled the same size, 10. Some have round circles in the center you get your needle through, and then some are square, and that's weird, It depends on what beads you get. Some of the red translucent beads and the purple, they have square holes. They look round, but if you look at them really close, they have a square in them. There's a red bead. We have a translucent, and I don't mix it with anything else. It's just in that one pink, with the pink beads, that container there. And then I have some other beads too that are the ends are sharp. The way they're cut, if you pull too tight on them, make your row tight, it'll cut your thread. I've got a bead here that's just rare. Can't find these very much. But they got the red, white, and blue stripes on them. Remember these, Rose?
Yeah.
You got those. Then I have another bead that's even crazier. These are the ones I was talking about. They'll cut your thread if you pull too tight. They remind me of peppermint candy.